Welcome back, or welcome to, because everyone is new to the channel after my Final Fantasy Sprout Talk video.
Ooh, how'd that do?
Yeah. It's pushing 700, I think.
Woo! Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. I wish it was subs. It's not subs, but I appreciate all the people that joined from it. Well, what's it sitting on? 673. It's climbing. It's just.
Oh yeah, go watch that video. If you're watching this, go watch that video after this.
Yeah, watch that after this one, or find it right in that corner. I think I'm pointing in the top left.
You are.
The top right, whichever one.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, it's where it usually is. Yeah. So we talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion here for this season of this show of Pro and Noob. We are currently at the rebuild of Evangelion 2.22. You can not advance. And this is Jarod. The chuckle fuck.
This is Jarod, the chuckle fuck guy.
Speaking of Jarod, he's going to be talking a lot, don't worry. Of course, go follow TNAP. Go that way. You played a clip, admittedly at my request last week.
Yeah.
It instantly got caught. I uploaded that and YouTube just went, no.
Which one was it?
You'll never know. Instantly. And it's what makes it worse, right?
So so did it pull it or did it just say copyright?
It's a ID claim. Right?
Oh, okay. So
it wasn't there was no impact on it, but I don't have the time or the patience to deal with shit.
See, I don't have the season 2 intro because it gets to the "you'll never know what hit you" a lot.
But here's the
faster.
thing, right? You played that clip before on one of these videos, on one of these episodes, and it didn't pick it up. And I was like, cool, it's fine. Because I put a whole thing of like where it zooms into my face instead of the actual Ionized Bastards logo, and then like the red eyes start glowing just as it hits. I'm like, no one's gonna see that now. No. So in case you're wondering why it says "pretend this plays the devil within," that's why. I had to find another track that he didn't claim. But so that clip is unfortunately off limits now.
Okay, all right. Well, go watch Ionized Bastards on the All Remaining Systems YouTube channel as well. If you want a healthy, hearty dose of Star Wars RPG shows, it is my favorite thing I've ever done on the interwebs. And season 3, final season, coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of final things, Jarod. You had a very interesting reaction to this movie.
So every so often, I watch this while my dearly beloved girlfriend is, oh my God, that's real.
Is it the Liam Payne thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked at my phone and saw that. Not that I'm laughing at him, but that sucks. That's crazy. 31.
I can't believe that was real. I saw a meme that was like, what I'm about to say is going to sound like I'm making fun of this musician that died, and I'm not. But like I saw like the meme that happens every time like a beloved celebrity dies, where it's like the gates of heaven and it's like Tupac and Harambe and Air Bud.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he got canceled.
The newest person's always in the front in the middle.
Yeah. And then I looked down at my Apple Watch and I just looked down as a text message came into the group chat I'm in, and someone was saying like, oh my God, he's dead. And I was like, oh, holy shit.
R.I.P. Liam Payne. No.
Yeah.
Crazy young. No.
Holy fuck.
Speaking of holy fucks.
I'm gonna have to fucking raw dog this segue. So every so often I'll try to watch Evangelion when my girlfriend is in the room. Sometimes it's, she came home from work. I'd go into our room to watch it. She'd be like, fuck this, I'm going to bed. And I just watch it as she nods off. And she doesn't see any of this insane shit that Mitch subjects me to week after week.
He agreed to it. This is all consensual.
Last week watching Rebuild 1, Taylor was like
1.11.
1.11. Sorry.
You are not alone. Just to.
But she was like, and she heard me be like, "Oh, this is the first one." She's like, "Oh, that's interesting." And she looked up and she said, "This seems like a lot." I'm like, "You'd be right, honey." And I'm watching Rebuild 2.22, and
you could not advance.
And she at one point is like, "Can you try to explain to me what the fuck is happening?" And
no. Is the answer to that one.
I tried.
No.
And I got a nosebleed doing it.
Classic anime fashion. Nosebleeds are integral. Yeah.
I felt like I was going to die. I was like, she looked at me. She said, "I don't think I need to watch this." And I was like,
that's a shame.
And I looked at her. I was like, Taylor, this is some of the best art I've ever gotten to experience in my life. Like, unironically, like this is
the correct answer. Yeah.
I was like, this show is incredible. The show is remarkably good.
She should watch it from the beginning. No.
I told her, I was like, "Oh, if I could do it." She's like, "No." She's like, "I've seen what it's done to you." You know.
That's because you don't watch it properly, Jarod. That's what.
Listen, I'm gonna. Okay, so what I'm about to say is equal parts truth and equal parts sizzle.
We like a bit of sizzle around here.
I am really glad I have not had to play very many Epic Confrontations matches while this show has been going on. Because trying to handle the triple whammy of a brand new Star Wars show, taping Ionized Bastards, doing this, and EC might have killed me.
It'd been worth it.
That's
just a whole bunch of L's.
Might be a little something coming up. EC that might feature an iconic rivalry in one way, shape, or form. I'm not going to elaborate on that anymore because I know the people who watch this don't interact with those people on the internet and don't tip my hand to anybody, loyal pro and noob viewers, because I'm pretty sure one of the people involved on the other side of this contest does not know I'm a part of it yet. I'll put a little bit of sizzle out there. See, this is what's nice about being like a super niche micro influencer, is that you can.
That is a sentence you should never write again. Please never refer to yourself in that way again. Super niche micro influencer. No.
I don't want to say celebrity, because if I call myself a niche micro celebrity, then I have to kill myself.
Unalive for YouTube.
Oh, sorry, unalive. Unalive. Pew pew. But anyway,
I hate it here.
Stay tuned to Epic Confrontation. No, so this one I was interested by, so obviously the shock of it's a retelling has obviously worn off. Just in time for this to become a truly radically different timeline. Which, love that.
We ain't in Kansas no more.
No, we left Kansas behind the moment this one started.
Yeah.
So, what was the name of our new Ava pilot?
Mari.
That's what I thought. So at first I'm like, "Oh, is this Asuka?" For a brief moment, I'm thinking it's about to be Asuka, because she's like, "Mr. Kaji, my boobs." And I was like, "Ah, yes, Asuka." And obviously I was wrong. I was like, "Okay, who the hell is this?" I was very interested by it. That said, just talking about Mari and this movie begins with boobs.
It does, yeah.
And I need to say, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, y'all, and I'm just going to get it out of the way. This might have been the worst one for me in terms of the, really egregious sexualization.
What, just from Mari alone?
No, not just from Mari. Mitch, it is almost every other scene there is like egregious nudity
Actually,
or somebody saying some like really off-color bullshit. Like, I'm sorry.
that's egregious stuff. I actually can't. Like, every other scene, like, where?
Every other scene, it's either Ray's naked, Asuka's naked, someone's in a super skin tight outfit. We're making fun of the fact that Asuka's like, it's kind of revealing, isn't it? Like, I'm sorry, you can't lampshade your way out of this for me.
If I tell you that's exactly the point, that what you're talking, how you're talking about it right now is exactly the point.
How?
Because
I say that in 100% good faith.
Arno is fed the fuck up with fan service and how people sexualize these characters.
So he put it in every other scene?
Yeah. You just can't comprehend it, Jarod. It's fine.
No, I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I spoke mildly hyperbolically about how much Kaji creeped me out a little bit at first. For him to show up and just become a walking, talking, breathing, sentient fucking HR violation. And I made a joke in here that said, Kaji, stop, I'm going to call HR. Moments before, Misato confirmed that there is an HR department in there.
Well, the sign might exist. I don't think HR actually exists in there.
Asuka's transfer has been approved by HR. That's all I had to say.
I mean, words don't mean much. When Kaji told him it was Adam, words don't mean much. Remember when Misato's like, hey, when I recover from this bullet wound and this whole entire like raid in this facility, words don't mean much.
Yeah, I remember you telling me I was reading too much into it too.
You were just in the wrong bit of it.
Fuck off.
Don't be so obtuse.
But no, so I got really burnt out on that. Other fun note, I just feel the need to hit because, you know, me and my Asuka hate. Your girl's a racist.
She's German. I'd like to point that out.
Stop making excuses. Like literally,
I'm not making excuses.
Right now is Asuka. You're the argument you're making right now. I said your girl is racist, and instead of a flat out, you're right, she kind of sucks. Your response is trickle down Nazism.
Tell me how that's different. Me saying you're right and me saying she's German are the same thing. Shout out to any Germans out there. It's European banner. Americans don't understand it. No.
Anyway.
Americans can't fathom talking to a different country without...
Wait, what am I doing right now?
Anyway. Talking at me, not to me.
Oh. My God.
He loves it. He adores this.
So I found it interesting that we actually had an angel outside of Japan. That was interesting. We didn't really see that much in the show.
No.
And those are one of those things that I was like, you know, I'm willing to make the conceit that this is, you know, in the same way that aliens seem to only ever invade America in movies. You know, sure. The angels are only obsessed with Japan. There's a reason. That's where Lilith is. Sure. But it was cool seeing it be a little bit more of a global conflict. I love a sea-based like headquarters like they had for that nerve facility. It's giving Triskelion. You know, I like that a lot. See, guys, I actually know things about the comics, not just the movies.
Triskelion was in the movie.
I know it was in a fucking movie, Mitch. It was in a fucking movie. Leave me alone.
It's been in a couple, isn't it?
No, it was only in Winter Soldier.
Wasn't he in Civil War?
No, it was the Raft. They imprison the war criminals in the raft.
Yeah, but I'm certain
that's something I can say on this channel because there's nobody. There are no terrorists to tell Mitch and I that we're wrong for being on Team Iron Man. Get in the comments. But no, so Mari, I was very perplexed by her. Fascinated, interested in what's going on there. And the cinematography for that angel fight and her escape, absolutely incredible. I have a note in here because I watched it last night, so the notes are back. I said the worst part of starting over is going back to square one with Asuka. Now I have that. I do follow up on that note.
How much of a difference does the voice make?
I would not have noticed if you had not told me. Like I would have noticed there was a different voice.
No
I would have
way
noticed I would have noticed that it was a different voice, but it did not change much for me at all. I honestly was like really listening for more of a German accent, and I didn't hear it either.
I mean, the German accent comes out when she says the German stuff, right? Not usually.
I thought she was going to be a little bit more, sweet soul, whatever. That was racist.
Now who's being racist?
that was a little.
As a European, I'm offended by that.
Are you? Are you?
They might be German, but we got.
Why don't you go do a Dresden firebombing about it?
Wow.
Yeah, history buff too. Anyway,
it was justified.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, Kaji, absolutely unnerving.
Nerve.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Just because he does a little bit of that weird flirtation with Ritsuko at the very beginning of the show when he shows up too, and I was like, oh, but and then it gets a little muddled because it's like, okay, like, is he fucking both, or like, is he just kind of a womanizer? And then they're like, no, he actually had a really committed relationship with Masato, which I then really didn't like the whole like, oh, like he's like openly being like really like not like flirtatious past the point of flirtation. Like he is making open sexual advances at Ritsuko in both, like less so the show. It's there, but less so than he is here, where he's almost openly being like, hey, Ritsuko, you want to get out of here and go boom. Directly in front of Masato, which to me, I don't like it if only because I love where he lands with Masato.
Yeah.
I love that he very much is like, yeah, we're again, it very much is a part of that, this theme and this big idea about, we will put barriers in front of ourselves to keep the people we love away from us because of something we can't, that we are struggling to heal from ourselves, which I think is very beautiful.
Dilemma.
Yeah, the hedgehog dilemma. That whole big idea that carries over this story.
The metaphorical AT fields.
Yeah. That I don't think is. I like it a lot. I like that theme a lot, and and it's explored to very different ways. With Shinji, you get it to where you put up so many barriers that this is a compliment I want to pay these movie adaptations very heavily right now. And maybe it's because online culture and online communities is a thing that fascinates me very much. Anybody who's familiar with anything I have done or talked about on the Nerd Academy podcast, stuff like the Fandom Menace and how we got here, where it's very much about these like very insular online communities and the way that hopelessness can lead to a lot of like devastation in the real world. At the hands of like disenfranchised and mentally, unwell men. That's something I've talked about a lot, be it in an adversarial context a lot of the time. But just in terms it is a legitimate mental health crisis that we find ourselves in that is perpetuating a lot of strife in the real world. And maybe it's that like when I see a doomsday prophecy, I get excited in media. When I see cults, when I see conspiracies, I get excited because it's something I'm fascinated by in the real world. And there's kind of a trickle down. We're seeing Shinji reads like a black pilled Reddit user. Like more so.
He's slightly different in this one. No.
He is slightly different. And I think that, and again, knowing how Shinji's story ends in the show between the final episode and end of Evangelion, having him outright say out loud, I am so miserable that I kind of wish not only I didn't exist, but the world at large died with me. That is something that even exists in his brain a little bit. It did not, at least to me, watching the show for the first time, not quite knowing the direction it would take, I did not pick up on Shinji's self-worth issues playing that much of a factor. And again, part of that is that the tepid, shy protagonist who becomes like a bombastic hero is a tried and true trope in anime. That I guess I kind of spent most of the show waiting for Shinji to have his Izuku, the fucking Deku moment.
Deku,
yeah. I was waiting for him to have his Deku moment of fuck this shit. I'm actually the GOAT. And for a moment I thought it was happening in the my name is Shinji Ikari and I am the pilot of Baby Unit 1.
That was a good introduction. Well done.
Thank you. Where I was like, that's where it happened. This is his Deku moment. This is where the timidness dies, and a new person is born who understands not only their self-worth but their worth to others, and that the important role they play in this narrative, whatever. And I was always expecting that to happen, and it's like, oh, like the whole point is that he feels like he's incapable of that. And I just felt like the show didn't communicate that well until it is Shinji having his kind of trying to commit psychic suicide for about 2 hours. Throughout the rebuild, I do not think it is left to any subtext or implication. This is somebody who is in the throes of a mental health crisis while battling the end time. And I think, and I truly do think so far, this is a more compelling version of this story.
I find that fascinating.
I think I find myself more compelled by this framing of the narrative so far than I think I do the show.
I find that absolutely. You are the second person I've ever seen say that. And I only saw the first person the other day, and that blew my fucking mind.
For me, a lot of it is
everything's more apparent.
Yes, but here's why that is such a big factor for me. I think I got caught up so much in wanting to know what Nerv is up to that
you got lost in the sauce. No.
I glossed over a lot of character stuff, which normally is not how I handle these shows. But I was so compelled by the cosmic horror of the angels and the Avas and what's going on here. I was so caught up in that I think that I didn't feel I had enough time to really bask in these characters.
Which is funny because the whole show just sets plot aside and focuses only on the characters. Yeah,
but there also comes a point where a lot of these characters do spin their wheels for a while.
Oh, they do, yeah, they do.
And again, and I think it's crazy that I feel like these characters are better developed in these movies.
Which is crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
Again, but because on paper you'd think, spread it out across 20 some episodes, everybody has all the time in the world. But the fact that within moments of meeting Asuka, we have her talking to a little puppet. Now, granted, because I've seen the show, I know what all of this symbolism means. I know what it's getting at. I know where this comes from. But if I had that in the show, if I had Asuka framed as somebody who, while she is all alone, she is having a conversation with herself where a doll is playing her mother in this hypothetical conversation, I am almost immediately like, there is something wrong with you beyond a Napoleon complex. What is that about? They jump-started showing the way that these characters are fractured human beings so much earlier in the narrative and started doling out what this trauma, what this
Well,
hurt means so much faster.
Is
And I
it
really
so
think it
much
services
faster?
the character.
Is it so much faster? Because you should think about it. We're technically halfway through these movies. So, which would be 12 and 13 for the show. Whereas the episodes, technically, this one goes a bit further than what it should have done. I say should have done. A bit further than the pattern of the first rebuild suggests it was going to do. But we're up to, in theory, really. Actually, I'm trying to think when Unit 3 was. Is it 14?
Ish.
I think I just told myself at my own point now. Anyway, you're seeing a lot of stuff before Asuka actually shows up, right? Which is episode 9.
Yeah.
So in theory, you're seeing it earlier, but I guess narratively.
I mean the point A of point B. I mean from the moment I met Asuka in this movie. So the moment the audience meets Asuka, we have a brief moment where she calls Ayanami a pet. She starts grilling Shinji, not necessarily for a legitimate reason, because she is still, and again, slander aside, it is part of her character. She is needlessly cruel and mean. And in this one, she starts grilling Shinji for like an admittedly reasonable reason. Of the whole, you rode your father's coattails, you're a fucking Nepo baby. Which again, to me, that again, she shows up and just fucking hates Shinji. She just shows up and hates Shinji. And there is no reason.
I challenge you to go find someone like Shinji and then meet them for the first time and not immediately hate them.
Okay, sure.
I adore Shinji, but
again, point taken. But my point remains, like she actually has like something to say about him other than you're an idiot, I hate you. She's calling Ayanami a pet.
Which is true.
She's calling Ayanami a pet. Say you rode your father's coattails. Like she shows up, she pops off, she jumps stupid, she acts like an asshole. And then almost in the next scene, we see the way that her psyche has been fractured. Like, and again, from that moment, she's no longer just this, like, at least to me, insufferable bully. We have gone, here is her acting out of pocket. Here's her just being a menace to society. And she's clearly, like, clinically unwell. And I think that, again, immediately, I'm way more interested in Asuka. She's way less grating to me immediately.
I feel like she was immediately unwell in the show, but that's just
I think going back to last week, to the last movie, to the last rebuild, Masato knowing more, going, that is Lilith, this is what the second impact was. We're trying to stop the third impact because if the angels touch this thing, it is Armageddon. It makes more sense. And again, and I will suspend my disbelief till the cows come home in the name of a compelling story and like metaphor. I'm here for it. But it moves the story along so much more cleanly.
If I tell you again, this is the point. Right.
I get that. I'm just saying that for me, like I am finding myself more compelled by this iteration of Neon Genesis Evangelion than I think the show. Because like I said, like Asuka, again, I know what her whole deal is, but like that, like, oh God, we're right back to square one. That was my legitimate reaction. Where I was like, where I'm like, okay, like how long do I have to wait now for I'm Not a Doll? And like for her to have more character than just being fucking Draco Malfoy.
That is offensive. You take that back right now.
No.
Take it back.
No.
Take it back.
Most of the show, she is a one-dimensional bully. She's a one-dimensional bully who's fun to watch.
No. That's totally fine. Just take that comparison back.
Sure.
That is out of pocket.
Sure. Katsuki Bakugo. Whichever lovable bully you want to pick. She's
Malfoy is not a lovable bully. Yeah. Malfoy is like Joanne in a slick back blonde wig. Anyway,
funnily enough, I think Draco Malfoy is less of a bigot, inexplicably,
probably,
than J.K. Rowling.
probably, yeah.
Inexplicably. That guy shows up and says the magical version of the N-word for an entire movie and is somehow less of a
Oscars
bigot.
never used the slur.
No, I'm surprised
Never
she
used the
didn't.
slur.
I'm
No,
surprised she
fake,
didn't.
Yeah.
The amount of you Japanese people. I'm like, Jesus.
No, that's just the European source coming out. All right. That's what all the mainlanders are like.
Yeah, white colonial bigotry. That's what European sauce is. Fuck me, but Taylor had a very funny comment. It was so funny hearing Taylor say shit I said early on. Because they're like,
now you know how I feel.
When they were like, now we have it, Gendo. The key of Nebuchadnezzar. And Taylor looked at me and she went, okay, I have to ask. How much of this biblical bullshit is just because it sounds cool? And how much of this has to do with the literal Christian Bible? And I looked at her and I said, honey, I'm going to be honest, it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
And even the 50% that has like an actual biblical allegory, it's almost entirely allegorical. And I said, and I'm going to tell you that because Mitch wanted to keep me sincerely considering to start researching the Bible. I
mean, that was never the plan, but you came to that conclusion by yourself. And
I mean, when there's a giant fucking monster being literally crucified, maybe there's some more Christ allegory here.
I mean, anyway. Sure. Who knows? Maybe.
And I stand by my analysis of the big idea theme of creation and stuff. I stand by that. I just thought it was going to be more of the point of the show than it was.
It's the characters. You should know this by now.
What?
The point's the characters. Yeah. Sizzle. The point was the characters.
Sure. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So that was okay. So what was the key of Nebuchadnezzar?
It's a great question.
Okay, so was that an actual tiny skeleton or was it just shaped like that?
No, it was a tiny nervous system.
Or nervous system, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Because get it? No. It's a tiny nervous system. Yeah. Like how you had a tiny fecal Adam? No. Or fetus Adam, not fecal. Some would argue that they look the same, but
no, but what does the key of Nebuchadnezzar do?
We are 21 weeks into this, and you're asking me a plot question, expecting an answer. What does this thing do that is clearly going to come back around? If you want to know... If you want an answer, read the Bible. The Bible will tell you what happens.
Okay.
Just how if you research a tree of life, it will tell you what happens.
Know what I'm allowed to Google, Mitch. That's the whole problem, is I don't know what I can Google, Mitch.
Nothing. What do you know about Nebuchadnezzar?
Not much. Most of my Bible knowledge has to do, unsurprising to anybody, with Revelation.
That's why we have fun here.
The part that has to do with all the conspiracy theories in the end times. Because I'm nothing if not consistent.
It's true. But no, you will find out.
All right. So what is up with all the medical equipment in Ray's room?
It's just there, right?
Okay.
Why not have it there?
Okay, because she takes a pill and it lingers a lot on the pill, and I wasn't sure what that was for, if anything that is being alluded to that I
don't they
missed.
show something like that in the original when you go
I
to
don't
her apartment? No, I can't remember either.
I do not remember.
I want to say they show a shot of a glass in the original, but I can't.
Okay.
remember.
Well, if it's not that
I could be
important,
conflating the two or confusing the two together, but
well, it may not be that important, so I'm not worried about it. I have here, like, we're getting started on the doll stuff. Like that a lot. Like, again, jump starting Asuka's development beyond whatever. Also, as a sneakerhead, I just need to say I like when real world sneakers show up in animation, even if they aren't like crazy cool ones. And I just thought it was really funny that very briefly they call specific attention to a woman wearing New Balance 550s. I thought that was really funny that while that lady's walking on the street, they take great pains to be like, look at her New Balance 550. I don't know why that was so funny to me.
they probably had a sponsor deal.
Oh, there's a couple name brands that have shown up in this that did not show up in the show. Like much like Code Geass, there's a non-zero amount of Pizza Hut, which I think is deeply funny, both here and Code Geass, of just like, hey, it's the end times. Pizza Hut.
Capital.
Yeah, I know. I really do hope I get sponsored by Pizza Hut one day. Because I do have
Sponsored
an
by
ad for
what?
them. Pizza Hut.
So you've gone all crackly for me. I don't know if it's mine or yours.
Because I have an ad for Pizza Hut.
Oh, you do?
Time.
I look at that every time and I always forget.
Yeah, the pizza box is older than me.
That's crazy.
I know. My dad had it. We were clearing out the garage to build Studio 1.0. And he was like, oh, I forgot I had this. I was like, that's going in the set. Which I then got self-conscious about because I'm like, oh, God, I already have too much Darth Vader. I'm like, I got the Revenge of the Jedi poster. I got that. Today I have a sweater with Darth Vader's lightsaber embroidered onto me. So it's a Vader heavy episode.
You got the sticker on the laptop always in view?
Yeah, I got the Rogue One sticker. Can you tell what my favorite Star Wars character is? Anyway.
No. It's a Spider-Man.
Yeah. Favorite Star Wars character, Peter Parker.
Anyway. What's next on your notes?
What is next in my notes is just me pondering as to why the moon is red already.
What with the line?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Okay, so that's important for later.
Why is the sea red?
Yeah, well, again, that's why I thought that we were picking back up where we left off last time. So, okay, so question.
Shoot. Depending what it is, depending if you're going to roll. Because we haven't rolled for a minute.
We haven't.
No. Say the question first, and I'll decide. No.
Why does Kaworu call Gendo his father?
Oh, roll for that one. You need a 15, by the way.
Oh. Well, I rolled a 17 flat, and I was trying to find my insight on my character sheet. So,
okay. Pull up.
You're the fucking worst. You know that, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good.
The thing is, I don't start off like this, right? I'll trickle it in, and then people bite, and then that just becomes the thing. And the more people bite, the worse it gets. No.
But yeah, I was surprised to see Kaworu just on the moon.
Saw him on the moon, the last one as well.
I couldn't tell if he was literally on the moon.
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
that's interesting.
I was like, well, because like when he appears before Seeley, like he's kind of floating in that like spacey void in the show too. And he's also kind of in that swamp area. So I'm like, okay, like maybe it's that, maybe it's whatever. Like, again, smoky swamp. So I was like, okay, maybe it's that. I didn't realize he was just chilling on the moon. I'm very excited to see him in an Ava by the looks of it down the road because he has a flight suit on and he has. It looks like he has a unit on the moon.
Right. Well, that answers the question that I had.
What's that?
Did you stop watching right at the credits? This is my problem. I should have said this before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a post-credit scene?
There's a mid-credit scene.
See, here's why I did. I got the "Would you like to watch this next?" thing pop up, which 9 times out of 10 means I'm done watching.
No, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. The fun fact: Disney Plus does not do that. Disney Plus will will have that same button, but it's to skip the credits. Yeah, it's like how the MCU does things. You have like your big funky credits, and then there's a scene before you have the rest of the credits, and then there's another scene. It's that mid-credit one.
Oh, I'm watching now.
You can't get a live reaction.
Oh!
The best bit is this is a really important scene. Like, you had to have seen that. Yeah. There's the Mark 6.
Okay, so he just yeets. Is that the Spear of Longinus, or is that just a weapon that he
who
has?
knows? That is a weapon he has. To answer the question from the options you gave me. That is a weapon he has.
Okay, I'm trying to pause it because there's so much debris floating around that I can't.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I can't get a good look at the blade.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, it doesn't look like the Spear of Longinus.
It's not
Spear of Longinus.
No.
Yeah, because it has the 2 prongs.
Yeah, it's the double.
And this is more of like this almost looks like Soul Edge.
It's like a halberd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. It is time, Shinji Ikari, and I give you my word, I'll show you true happiness. Shit, damn. Okay. Well, that ain't that about a bitch.
He has a. No, I won't say that. No, I was going to say something. I wasn't entirely sure if it was actually in that scene or not, so I'm going to keep still.
So, I have a note here just making fun of Gendo and his right-hand man having a philosophical jerk-off.
It's what they do best.
So, push this. Turn this. I found this. I was right the first fucking time! Let's fucking go!
Remind the people what you were right about again.
Rei Ayanami is a clone of Yui Ikari. Confirmed.
Did we not go over that?
No, we didn't.
Are you sure?
You did not. No.
Are you sure? I'm certain we went over that.
No, all we talked about was the fact that I was right about her being a clone.
Yeah, she's a clone of Yui, yeah. Clone of Yui with the soul of Lilith, yeah.
Because all you said when we talked about it before was like, yeah, you said she was a clone. And I was like, wow, I can't believe you got that right. You never gave me the clone of Yui part. And it felt like you left me hanging, just being like, oh, do with that what you will.
I mean, yeah, you never picked back up on it.
No, because they never really explore it much in the show. They're just like, oh, it's a fucking clone. And they kind of leave it there.
I mean, as is tradition with the show, they are subtle with some things and not very subtle with others. You even asked the question of it because Shinji's like, oh, how very motherly of Rei. And then when Dr. Akagi strangles Rei one, she's looking at it going like, Yui? Like, it's the show telling you she's a clone of Yui.
I know, but also... I think it also bears repeating.
Also, the fact that she looks
this,
identical to Yui.
I think it also bears repeating that many of the characters in this show are, as I said earlier, psychologically fucking fractured.
I mean, sure. But yeah.
So,
yeah.
I was
it's a delay. It's a very delayed. You're right. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I was waiting. Because I'm waiting on you to tell me when I'm right and wrong, because I can't fact check myself, and I
can when you get to certain points.
You know, there comes a point where I'm like, okay, I can't Google this because I think I was right. Because again, even during the show, I'm like, was I right about it being fucking Yui? And then I was like, I can't ask them. I can't look into it too much. I just gotta wait.
This is why you need to watch the show again. It's a completely different experience when you know everything.
Bro, I cannot believe I no-scoped that in the first time I met
did. You
did. Not the first time, but like I very quickly was like, Rei Ayanami is a clone of Yui Ikagi or Akari. Damn.
That was where did that come from intro? My dog head tilt. It's like, how in the fuck?
Which again, the whole time when you use that clip, that was one of the moments I was like, oh, he used that as a clip. I'm so wrong. I was like, the joke here is that I'm out of my mind.
The joke here is he's fucking spot on. He's got it right. But that's why I used it. I gaslit you into thinking you were wrong.
I know.
Intentionally, yeah.
But I never lost faith in myself.
Good.
Eventually, I always win. Sometimes it's a long road to get there. But I get my get back.
The road to dubs are paved with L's? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The most fulfilling dubs are paved with L's. All right. Again, I called attention to all the medical equipment in Rei's house or her apartment, which again is nothing, it sounds like. Or at least you're implying it's not. For all I know, it's not. Me freaking out because I was right. Me complaining about Kaji being an absolute fucking creep. So, okay.
Kaji does nice things in this, though.
Yeah, after he sexually harasses a child.
Doesn't sexually harass a child. What child is he sexually harassing?
Shinji Ikari.
I mean, is he sexually harassing?
Want to go on a date? Oh, I don't know.
That is completely changing the context of how he says that. That is.
I don't know. Oh, so it changes the context wherever he leans in so closely to Shinji to make him think he's going to forcibly kiss him. It freaks Shinji out to the point where he shrieks over it, and then he goes, haha, just kidding.
I mean, Shinji shouldn't be homophobic, right? Come on now.
You know what, Mitch? Sure, he shouldn't be homophobic. You know what Kaji shouldn't do? Pretend he's about to forcibly kiss a child.
He didn't pretend to. And Shinji just took it that way.
No, he leans all the way in, and then when Shinji's like, and Kaji stops right here with him and goes, just kidding, and gives him his coffee milkshake, and then makes Shinji do manual fucking labor on his little watermelon farm. Yeah. Fuck you. Stop being obtuse.
You're going to have so much fun on Pro and Noob, I tell you.
Anyway.
So much fun. Especially if we watch the show that I'm thinking of watching.
Listen, we're doing Tartakovsky Clone Wars as my chaser, and then we'll do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, no.
So
I have changed the plan slightly. No.
Why let me feel safe for even a moment?
Oh, no, it's not in a bad way. It's a good way. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
I legitimately mean that. It is a good thing.
Oh. Okay.
I promise.
I don't feel safe here, Mitch. I don't feel safe. I don't.
All right, Shinji Christ.
So, fuck you.
He got mad. He doesn't like the truth.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Let me read my fucking notes.
I'm not stopping you from reading it. Read the notes.
You know what? Go
drink
Jarod. Some tea and eat some crumpets and leave me the fuck alone.
Read. I'm going to have tea after this. Get the fuck on with it.
Are the nearly identical bandages on Asuka and Rey a thing?
What do you mean, are they a thing?
Like, is that something that was like, ooh, that's important?
I mean, to the character arcs of the movie, yeah.
So, okay, what I'm saying is Rey picks up a knife when she's at her house, and we see her next with a shit ton of scratches all over her hand and a bunch.
Yeah, because she's cooking for Shinji. Yeah.
Okay, because she's cooking for the first time.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we see that Asuka also has a bunch of similar bandages.
Because she's cooking for Shinji.
Because she's cooking for Shinji.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. I was like, is it because all three of them get seriously injured during that Ava fight?
Well, they do, yeah. Well, Rey.
So I was like,
no, Rey doesn't, no.
So my thing was like, is this injuries from that? Are they both showing like they were both cooking? Whatever. Again, this could if I was interpreting that correctly, they are both at this point scarred because of them trying to get close to another person, porcupine alone. Whatever.
Yeah, they can't cook, so
they're all children. Cool. Ava is in a crucifixion pose. I have a note in here saying what I said earlier. Asuka is so much more compelling here from the start. I also have, again, I'm glad to see the plans and intentions of Gendo so much earlier. I have a comment in here that I don't know that I want to read on air.
Read it and I can cut it out if you don't want it.
Yeah, if you don't keep this, please put like a redacted in there. This was my initial reaction to the, can I wear something slightly less revealing? To which I wrote, we are verging on lolly and the show is joking about it. Make it fucking stop.
Again, that's the point.
Sure, whatever.
And it's not against anything you're saying. He's factually with you on this one.
Sure.
It's the whole like give them what they want, shove it in their faces, and they'll just complain about it because they don't know what they want. Right.
Yeah. So so at this point, we reach the part of my notes where it's me like live reacting into my notes with not a whole lot of thoughts. So first of all, the dinner falling apart broke my heart. Really, truly hurt.
You knew it couldn't happen. There was no.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I was like, if this happens, it's going to be brutal. But I was like, if it happens, it's going to be unpleasant. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be unpleasant. I just don't know which version of the unpleasantness is going to be more hurtful.
Could be the one we got.
Yeah.
Poor Oscar.
So first of all, I know what's his name survived basically the same thing.
Toji, yeah.
Toji. I know Toji basically survived what happened in this part of the movie. However, it seems a lot more brutal in the movie than it did in the show.
It's because he's got 2 more arms to rip off, right?
It's that. It's just the chewing on the ejection plug seemed a lot more effective than it did in the show.
I can't remember. Does she scream when he does that? I don't think she does.
I couldn't tell, but my jaw was in my lap. So Asuka.
Do you like it more in this compared to the original? Because I know you said you weren't a fan of Toji being the pilot.
I love it so much more here. It works so much better if it happens to Asuka.
That's really interesting.
It works so much fucking better. Literally, one of the weaker, in my opinion, one of the weakest plot points of the show went from being like, okay, whatever, it's Toji, he's fine, cool, moving on, to Shinji almost killed his comrade. And again, technically speaking, huh?
I say Shinji doesn't, no.
Oh, as far as Shinji's concerned, he's responsible.
Yeah, but it's.
He lashes out at his father because he's you made me do it. You made me do it.
Yeah, but
you took away my control, and I was behind the wheel when I watched my friend nearly die. And in this case, it seems like Asuka got out a lot worse than Toji did.
Mm.
Like, I'm not fully convinced that Asuka is alive at the moment.
Interesting.
So she's alive.
That's not me saying anything. No. Can anyone be alive with how this movie ends? Is anyone really alive at this point?
Well, that was something I was stunned by. I was not expecting Third Impact to be like the stinger.
No.
It makes perfect sense narratively. You know, to like again condense almost all of the angel attacks into like one or two each. To get us to a more satisfying thing here.
Even though there's
Kaworu.
There's 5 in this.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Kaworu activating and then Mari getting involved in the fight was crazy. The Beast protocol thing, insane. I love that we got our first use of the main theme for the show leitmotif.
Did we?
Like as Shinji's like getting amped up to go fight, there's a little bit of do do do.
Oh no, right, yeah.
Like again, it's very subtle. It's very subtle, and it's a big orchestral moment.
But what did you make of the music in this one specifically?
It was on par with the last one. You know, I was happy to hear more. I was happy to hear more themes and melodies throughout it than just like the happy-go-lucky big timpani battle scene, Ray, sweet, whatever. There is just more music. There's more music, and again, the music of the show is good, but it's just the same 4 or 5 songs every fucking scene. Where here, like there are more, like they're in different arrangements. Some of them feel bigger. You know, I feel like we're building towards hearing do 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 as like a big moment. I feel like that's going to be a big moment, getting like the classic theme in the third movie. Like I feel like that's something we're building to, and I like that there was a subtle moment of that piece of music.
Yeah.
Here as Shinji's getting ready to lay his life on the line for Rey. And then credit where credit is due. Credit where credit is due. I have been really uncomfortable with how horny the last 3 things we've watched have been.
Horny saved the day twice, so what can I tell you?
And well, here's what I will say. Credit where credit is due. The show is horny at the audience, or these movies have been horny at the audience. Shinji is a little hormonal boy, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that it feels like his motivation and his compassion for Asuka and Rey alike have so much less to do with them being sexual objects. And again,
I'd argue it's no different to the show, but that's me.
Well, again, this is. I'm sorry, I have to push back on you. Every time the angels get in his head, every time he like micro doses on human instrumentality, the unconsciousness immediately hones in on, you want to fuck Masato.
Because it's always going to go for the worst parts of you, right? It's never
going to go for the worst parts of you, but like it is the main part. It is, it harps on this whole idea of make yourself whole by experiencing me. And
I still argue that Shinji, in a lot of what he does in the original, is from compassion.
It is from compassion, but again, so much of it hinges on that like awkward, oh, look how hot you are. And look how like this is so much more interested in him loving his friends than him desiring them.
Yeah.
At least in the way it's framed to me. And again, credit where credit is due. And again, maybe this is some complex form of satire from Arno that I don't understand. Fine, whatever. But it isn't working for me. And it is not working as like a self-referential satire of how weirdly horny for these children the audience might be. it doesn't work, at least in my opinion. But this specific element where Shinji is running in there, putting his life on the line, being rooted in Rei, having a moment where her compassionate, where the part of her being that is capable of compassion, where Shinji sees the human, like the actual human being beneath all the machismo, and the verbose bullshit with Asuka, where like it feels so much more earned and it feels so much more fulfilling here.
That's fair.
And that really works for me. And it's an instance where these movies have pulled back on the sex. It's just important to me to say, if I'm gonna harp on this thing up top, I need to give it its flowers here for doing the opposite very successfully. So beautiful rendition of the main theme, like I said. It feels like the Eva going berserk is framed slightly differently here, and I like it a lot. Like obviously the dummy plug stuff, but like this whole idea that Shinji is like fully bonded with the Eva and it's going ape shit. Like he's going ape shit. It's not just
if you go back to End of Evangelion and how Asuka was in the MPE fight, it's essentially the same thing here.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. And then we hit fucking third impact going into our third movie, Thanos 1. End of Evangelion.
Where do we go from here?
Your guess is as good as mine, because now we are completely uncharted territory. And I
mean, my guess is a lot better than yours. I know exactly where we're headed, but
I would imagine. I would hope so. Not.
Wouldn't there be some shit if I didn't? No. This whole entire time I've just been lying. No.
So this whole time you've seen all of them except for 3.33. So after 3.3,
you think there's only 3? Oh, that's fascinating. I even said we were halfway through these movies earlier.
You said that earlier, and I was like, is he saying halfway through the run of the show? Like, where we are movie compared to show timeline-wise? That was going to be my next question, so there's a 4.4.
Technically, in the 3, the second one is in the middle of the 2, so you could have gone that way, but I wasn't going that way. There are 4 movies.
Well, I fully have no idea what to expect, but after 4.44, we're done.
Oh, there's no 4.44.
What, am I going to have to watch like Neon Genesis 1, like 2 times 2, Thrice Upon a Death Squared?
Thrice is the last one. It's just not called 4.44. Do you know what the last movie's called, Jarod?
No, it's like fucking like Death Thrice Upon a Time or something, right?
But the full thing.
What?
It's Shin Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time.
So what? Okay, so I know like Shin Godzilla is the thing. What does that mean?
I don't actually know. I did know at one point, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
Because fun fact, the third one, 3.33. Or is it 3.0? No, it's 3.33. I believe it's the first Shin. So I want to say it's got the Q and they use the Q for Shin. I don't know. I never thought about it. But I'm going to Google, what does Shin mean?
Well,
okay, that's interesting.
What?
True, extend, new, or heart. So there you go.
That could mean anything great.
Take every single one of those, and it applies. There you go.
Well, we're almost in the home stretch here, kids.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
I'm so excited to be done, man.
Did I tell you that when you're done, we've got another week left to talk about everything?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure it's gonna be like a decompression session.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that, because I know knowing stuff is hard.
Well, I rolled another nat 20 to end the show. I rolled a nat 20 right before we started recording, and I rolled a nat 20 to end it.
It's true, he did, yeah. So, yeah, I can't remember what 3.33 is actually called, in fairness. I was outside last night, like, dude from Blade Runner, like, having a ciggy, like, what the fuck's it called?
It's called Does Not Make Sense.
You know what? You cannot redo.
Okay.
Yeah, you can not redo. So tune in next week for that. Go follow Jarod, as I said. Subscribe, like, comment, do good stuff. I'm tumbling down. Keeps tumbling down, tumbling down. Hey guys, thanks for watching or listening, you know, whatever flavor you prefer. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the good stuff so you don't miss an episode. And of course, leave a comment, you know, tell us what you thought about this episode of Neon Genesis. You know, if you watched it before or you haven't, I generally love to hear what people think about this show. If you're following along with us, that's great. If not, and you watched it before, you know, tell us what you think about this one specific episode in particular, because we are trying to keep Jarod spoiler free as much as possible. And yeah, you know, any help is greatly appreciated for this little channel project we're working on here, you know, trying to build this up. And of course we can't do that without you guys, so yeah, any help is greatly appreciated, and we'll catch you all for the next one. So take care.